Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Steel Forest Welding and Forge. Today, my friends, we are going to start my very first hand-forged knife. Alright folks, so here is the plan of attack. The total length for this blade is going to be around 8 inches. So what we're going to do, we're going to set a mark here for 8 inches. So when it comes time to cut off, we know where our 8 inches are. The angle for the tip is going to be at 5 7/16, roughly right about there. So for this, I'm going to be using primarily a set of what's called box jaw tongs. These tongs are specific for this kind of steel here. As you can see, holds it nice and secure. Having a good pair of tongs is the most important step you can take in getting good forging. First thing I want to do is go ahead and cut off the tip of this part. The very end of this file is quite a bit thinner than the rest of it. I don't want a super thin tip. Cut the very end of it off. This is high carbon steel. We do not want to be messing with it when it is cold. Throw our tools and it'll shatter. Time to put that bend down to the tip of the sax. Well, as I've said in all my other videos, wouldn't be a good video without me making mistakes, so I did. You guys missed out on me first forming the tip of the sax. Now, you didn't miss much, but I'll go over what I did. We have our 8-inch mark right here. Move that straight down. That's where we're going to start our tip. Right up there. It's important to go back and correct that bend as you're making it. If not, the material will be way too thick and you will not have a good clean knife. Alright, too cold. Back in the fire. Alright. One thing I did learn was playing blacksmiths, clean products, frequent brushing. So go ahead and give her a brush. See all that scale off that's been building up? especially in all those cracks. This is an old rasp file. Let's go ahead and start closing that tip. Make sure we don't get cold shuts. And it is definitely going to want a cold shut on me because of that rough cut I did on it. Alright, let's put it back in the fire. We're going to tip a little more. My man is doing just grinding a point on that tip. Make sure I don't get any cold shuts. I can't imagine a worse spot to get a cold shut on the tip of a knife. You can see kind of right there, a bit of a defect. So I may end up taking this to a point and then grinding that out. We'll see. Alright, to get a good tip, take it to the edge of your anvil. Looks like I'm lucky. All that stuff went down to the bottom there. Looks like we're getting a nice tip on this. Alright, I think we're going to clean up that angle a little bit more. Actually, we're a little bit bigger than what I wanted. I'll take into account that that's going to stretch. That's okay. Brushing, put it back in, work on the tip. Oh God, stuff coming off. Definitely don't want to be working that into our material. Alright, so let's clean up this edge here. Spots, try and knock them down. Most saxes have a pretty sharp transition. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, that's looking pretty good. It's a little thick up there. As you can see. So I may put that in for one more heat and try and work that out here. Alright, let's try and even that. Out. Got a slight hook in there. That needs to be straightened. Much better. Okay. Next, I think we're going to go ahead and find our 8 inches and start our tank. Okay, so the next step is making the tank. What we're going to do, I'm going to line up my knife here, mark that 8 inches with some soapstone, and hopefully I'll be able to see that stone while I am setting my guillotine spoon. It's going to be a bit awkward to show you guys this in steps because I'm left-handed and whatnot, but we'll get it figured out. is the beginning of that tank. This just barely fits in. But it does. Probably as far as I want to take that for now. Go ahead and work on rolling that tank out a bit. Be careful. Don't want cold laps. Start doing this taper with the tank by hand. One drawback to the style guillotine tool that I have is that when I have a part in here, once I strike it, it's kind of hard to move it around. So this is one time where a spring puller would probably be a little more practical than a guillotine tool like this. However, this is what I have to work with, so this is what I'm using. One pro tip I would like to share with you: you will always get more work done with careful strikes as opposed to hard, undisciplined strikes. You will create more work for yourself using strength over finesse. Blacksmithing, regardless of how it may appear, is not an aggressive art. It is a gentle art. All right, we're getting somewhere. That is definitely starting to look like a knife. While it may look like I'm just pounding the heck out of this thing, the rebound of the anvil is actually doing a lot of work for me. If you're wondering, this is a 1,000 gram hammer, a little over 2 pounds. More than enough to get done what we're doing. We'll do a little bit of maintenance. hard part was the process, but boy, is it. I'm getting pretty pooped. Alright, I think we're getting close to the point where we might start putting. So typically at this point what you would do, turn this around, cut off the amount that you need for your tank, draw out the tank. The reason I haven't done that yet is these tongs will not fit as well on the point side of the tank, or the Seax, as it would the back with the drop. So that's why I'm kind of putting it off. I'll get all the heavy work done while I can. Alright, I think it's time to get the guillotine tool back in here. Make a edge to our tank right about there. That should be plenty. Temperatures, we do not want that. That should be 20. Probably too much, but whatever. Strikes out of that. Okay. I think we're getting past the point of no return here. We really need to start thinking about cutting this off and focusing on the tank. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll make a cut right there. Now, because I'm going to be putting a tip eventually, because this is going to be a tank, I want to cut this with the knife facing in this direction. So that way, I naturally make a point, not the other way. Otherwise, I'm making a point along the flat. That's not going to help me at all. We're going to make our cut this way. Close. That's close enough. We can probably break that on a pair of tongs. There we go. Alright, time to draw that out. As you can see, we have a natural tip on there. Not beautiful, but I can clean that up and it will work. I'm going to set this guy off my welding table so it can cool off. I don't want to harden this. I'll probably use this for a knife again in the future. Thankfully, this is still somewhat fitting. First, let's clean this up. We're going to perfect tip. Just shove down a handle. It's not perfect. It does not matter. Really wish I had a power hammer. That is starting to look like a blade. Alright, just going to put her back in the fire. already too cold to work. Thankfully, these tongs are working out very well. I actually am not striking this straight down. I actually have my hammer slightly tilted because I am drawing this out. Hard strikes at the beginning, gentler strikes at the end. See that tank starting to take shape there. You can hear me slowing down. As you can see, a little bit thicker through here. Doing more work this direction than this direction. Back to even thickness, and that is too cold to work. For those who may watch the show Forge and Fire, I'm sure you're out there, you may notice that whenever they are forging, they are bringing their knives almost to critical welding temperature. I can see why. It is only at that temperature where I can get the most work done. Plus, my heats go much faster. Now you would think your arms would be the sorest when you're forging. Wrong, my arm is definitely sore, but my abs are killing me right now. My abs and lower back. I'm fairly hunched over this anvil. Do some nice, clean, gentle strikes. What? I think we're good there. Go ahead, do a little cleaning up. Nothing like that. Soft, gentle strikes with my hammer to remove tooling marks. This actually can be done at a fairly low heat. So now, just checking the knife, as you can see, nice and straight. That tang, a little shooting off a little bit that way. We should definitely correct that. Just going to try and heat this end here. Straight, nice and even. Most of the forging is done. Now, if we wanted to be authentic, what we would do next is we would strike this edge right here at a slight angle to create the first part of our edge. However, one, obviously, the snap period, blacksmithing. Two, this knife blade is the exact width that I want it to be right now. If I were to go and smash this or hand work this down, I would actually be making this much thinner than I want it to be. So I'm going to leave this as is. Looks like we got some grinding work ahead. I think I may put this in for one more quick heat to brush it off. You guys don't need to see that though. So the next process in knife making is a step called annealing. While we've been forging this knife, we've been putting a lot of stress into its molecular structure. I'm going to put it into a bucket of sand. That sand is going to insulate this knife and help it cool down as slowly as possible. We'll let it cool overnight, and then the next time I have time to forge, we're going to start shaping it and sharpening it. Now, sand is not the best insulator you can use. I've actually heard vermiculite works very well. Now, unfortunately, all I have is a plastic bucket I don't recommend a plastic bucket. Putting something hot and metal in there, it could melt through, but this bucket is much deeper than my knife is, so we'll be okay. Something to be mindful of. Most propane forges have a cold spot. Mine, for example, is directly below the flame. You want to make sure when you do this to your knife, you get a nice even heat. That may require moving it in and out of the fire, as I did. My tang did not quite get a good heat, so I'm going to move that a little bit in, and if I bring it out again, you will see not quite an even heat along the whole length of the knife. So, see how it's a little bit colder there at the tip? Put it a little bit further in. Get up to non-magnetic temperature, which should happen here pretty quick. Welding magnet here. Be very careful about this. Does not stick. This is ready to anneal. Let's go ahead and move the camera around, and I'll do that. Make sure we completely submerge that knife in sand. Make sure we cover it completely. Don't use your hands to try and cover that tang. For the good love of God, please don't. I do not want to see some poor SOB burn their hand off. So we're going to let that sit overnight. Next time we get some forging time, we're going to start shaping. Well, there you have it. There's part one of my first hand-forged knife. So overall, I think it went pretty well. I don't think I'm going to be on Forged and Fire anytime soon, but I'm liking how this is turning out so far. The future plans are going to be a straight handle with maybe a small brass ring here. So in the next video, we'll be cleaning this guy up, starting to put an edge on it, fine-tuning this full tang, and probably working on the handle. And there'll probably be a total of 3 parts in all, with the last video be, final assembly and polishing. So everyone, thank you for watching again. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I know it's been a while since I put out a video, but life gets busy and it is what it is. But thank you everyone so far for your subscriptions. As of right now, we're almost at 575 subscriptions, which is great. Again, once we hit that 1,000 subscriptions mark, I'll be able to start monetizing these videos. And I promise that any money generated from these videos will be reinvested directly into making YouTube videos. So, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you again soon.